Hello, Broken Arrow. This is City Council Rewind for the meetings of December 17th. I'm Aaron McCullough, Director of Communications for the City of Broken Arrow, and with me is Assistant City Manager of Administration, Mr. Norman Stevens. Mr. Stevens, thank you for joining us.
Oh, proud to do it. Always one of my favorite sets to do.
Well, it's nice because it's the business of the city, if you will, and so it's a great opportunity to let the folks know what's happening. Big doings on Tuesday night with the council appointing a new councilor for Ward 3, Mr. David Pickle.
Right.
How important was this for the council to appoint somebody to this seat?
You know, it's really an interesting period that we're in right now, in the fact that we had 4 sitting city council people. Former Vice Mayor Christy Gillespie was elected to the state Senate, leaving that seat open. And between now and the election day in April, there are 8 meetings that are still set to go. Council believed it was very, very important to go ahead and temporarily fill that seat. Now, the seat that Mr. Pickle is filling will be back up for election in April. And what's interesting about this time is there will be 3 other seats that will be up for election at that time. So in April, it's going to be a very, very busy political month. And it's going to be a lot of interesting things to watch. And the process works. Our form of government is a council city manager. The council are voted on by the people. The council hires the city manager. Then the city manager runs the city on the day-to-day. So it's the way that it was intended to be.
I'm glad you brought up the general municipal election in April, because I want to make sure that we clarify with the 4 seats, because it's a very unusual election for us. Typically, we either have 2 or we have 3 seats up, and never 4. And the reason why we have 4 is because you have the 2 seats, Wards 1 and 2. That's for the full expired term. They serve for 4 years. So seats 3 and 4, that's for the unexpired terms. So there's 2 years remaining on those.
Right.
And so that election is for that person to fill the remaining 2 years, and then we get back on track. And in 2027, then we'll go back to the regular just 3 openings, and that would be for the at-large for the 3rd and 4th seats.
Absolutely. I've never seen it this way before, where there's 4 open seats.
It's very unique.
Yeah.
It's a very unique time.
It definitely is.
So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
And Mr. Pickle is well thought of in the community. He's a small businessman, very active in the Chamber of Commerce, very involved. So I think he'll do a good job in the filling-in period. And then if he decides to run, if he gets elected.
And people may not know it, but they've probably seen him around quite a bit previously, and they just didn't know it. And that's because he was the mascot. He was Roscoe, the mascot for the Broken Arrow Chamber for Rooster Days. And so it was just, that was one of those little nuggets that we learned whenever the 9 candidates came in and pitched themselves to the council back in the special meeting. So
Absolutely.
a little interesting nugget there for folks.
Absolutely.
There was something else on the consent agenda that I wanted to talk about really quickly, and this was an agreement the council authorized an agreement for the city with Oklahoma Natural Gas. And this is really important. It's really big, because this agreement is for O&G to come in and move some of their infrastructure, some of their underground lines and that sort of thing, ahead of the intersection improvements at Aspen and Jasper. And this is part of the broader in scope project to widen Aspen Avenue from Tucson to Jasper, 121st, 131st Street. This is a really big deal because of Indian Spring Sports Complex that is just right there on the south end. Do you want to expand on that just a little bit and just how big of a deal it is?
It is something that needs to be done. It is something that our employees have been working for years. It was in, I believe, the 2018 general obligation bond.
That's right.
Package.
One of those voter-approved projects.
And if you've ever tried to get to Indian Springs on a Saturday morning, it is very, very difficult. And the first step is widening or getting the infrastructure moved, then widening that intersection. I believe that our engineering team has secured $3 million in federal funding to go towards this. So it's going to be an expensive project. It's going to be a very laborious project, but once it is done, it is going to make life tremendously easier for our citizens trying to get to the Indian Springs Sports Complex.
I agree. Long time coming, but we're going to start seeing some progress in 2025, first with O&G moving their lines, and then the expectation, the goal with construction starting there on that intersection in the fall, late summer, fall of 2025. 3 parts for that project: the intersection, the rehabilitation from Jasper, 131st to Indian Springs, and then the widening of Aspen from Tucson to Jasper. So 3 parts, so it's going to take a little bit of time, but we are getting started.
And never lose sight of the fact that there is a tremendous amount of retail and restaurants that are not only have already come into that area, but they're planned to come into that area over the next couple of years. South Broken Arrow will soon almost replicate North Broken Arrow, and there's going to be more traffic, there's going to be more congestion. This is a great step to try to ease some of that congestion.
That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. State Representative Ross Ford on Tuesday night's meeting, he wanted to recognize, he issued a citation recognizing the utilities and streets and stormwater employees who worked, as you said earlier, laboriously for about 36 hours straight, repairing that water line there on Aspen Avenue. We have amazing employees here, don't we?
You know, we rightfully so, we celebrate our public safety, our police and fire, but it is so neat to see those in streets and stormwater go out and be honored for their hard work. I mean, they're out there in the worst conditions. They're out there overnight working to get the stormwater utilities group to get the, not stormwater, but
just get the water turned back on.
Yeah. It was something to see, and I couldn't be more proud of our employees and what they do to ensure that our citizens are taken care of. Very, very nicely done, and Representative Ross Ford, really appreciate him coming in and spending time to recognize them.
I agree. And if you're interested, the 54 names of the employees that were honored with this citation are available on the city website. There were about 30 other items on the agendas, and for more information, you can go to the city website, as I just mentioned, and click on Agendas and Minutes in the Government section. Click on the date range drop-down list and then select the governing body. Find the meeting date of your choice and select the meeting details. Okay, that's it for this edition of City Council Rewind. Mr. Stevens, thank you for joining us. I always appreciate it whenever you're able to fill in for the councilors when they're unable to make it, and it's always an enlightening conversation, and I really enjoy that.
You know, Aaron, for the last full year, and even before that, but just for 2024, every week you're out here and you're interviewing different people, you're pointing out the great things that are taking place in our city, and you're always pushing the attention to who you're interviewing. I want to take just a second to recognize you and what a fabulous job you and your team do. And this is a lot of work each week for as many different things as you do to keep our citizens informed of what their government's doing. It's what we do. We do the work of the people, and you do a great job.
Well, I appreciate that, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we have a fantastic team here in the communications office, and it's Michael Godfrey, who's behind the scenes there. It's Jordan Kuckler, who's behind the scenes over there, and it's Lisa Jones, who's behind the scenes over there. And it wouldn't be possible without their contributions and their dedication to get the information and education out.
I agree.
So,
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you, and we look forward to seeing you around Broken Arrow, the city where opportunity lives.
Thank you for watching. This is a production of the City of Broken Arrow, the city where opportunity lives.